Hello and welcome to Tapas and Pretzels, the adorsys podcast. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome to a new episode of our Tapas and Pretzels podcast with Tim and David as our tech experts and me, Inga, as a moderator. And we have a new guest, that is Giannis Kostakis. Hello, Giannis.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. Really happy to join the podcast.
Yeah, thank you, Giannis, that you're also here. You are the CEO at Leo CybSec, and you have also 15 years of work experience in the space of cybersecurity. Especially interesting, you also work for the European Union as a security consultant, and especially in the current political state of the world right now, I would say cybersecurity is a hot topic right now, but not also for like big companies, the European Union. I think cybersecurity is also important for little companies. What would you say? How much work does it need to have a secure environment in a little company?
I see. So yeah, my background, as you can understand, is in cybersecurity. I have worked with big corporates, including Vodafone, WorldPay, some big banks like Lloyds Bank in the past. And the past couple of years with my company, we try to secure small, medium businesses from cyber criminals. In the past, cybersecurity used to be a kind of luxury that only big corporates cared about, because that time cyber criminals were targeting specific big organizations where the money are. But nowadays, small, medium business are the backbones of the economy, right? So it's super important to highlight with all the automation now and the internet as well. Cyber criminals target also small and medium businesses. They don't care about the size, they don't care about the industry, they even target hospitals. We have seen that unfortunately in the past. So the past couple of years, I have seen this changing quite a lot. And I have seen also cybersecurity budgets as well now being deployed also for the protection of small and medium organizations. In the past, I served as a security advisor for the European Union. Really great experience. I supported the European Railway Agency that time, and there was always this fear that the Russians, have entered our networks and reading, the documents. I cannot say anything because I have signed some NDAs that time, and it's under confidential agreement. But what I can say is definitely that cybersecurity can be used as a weapon from big countries to influence geopolitical situations for sure. This includes as well as more targeting and attacking small and medium businesses.
I have one proposal, right? So I have a question for you, Giannis. Is now we are entering in the AI era. So, but AI is not coming alone. AI means also data, means also security. So I would like to ask you which are your main recommendation, best practices, insights, first in API, then in data, and then in AI.
Yep. Great question, David, and especially now while we're entering the AI world, we can see a lot of automation, minimum human involvement in those procedures. So we want to make sure that we have designed, all those systems, APIs, technologies with security in mind, especially when it comes to privacy. We have seen how important it is to protect also personal data, personal information, PII data, etc. Especially within the European Union, we're quite sensitive when it comes to accessing of personal information. So for sure, whenever we design any new system, we call it a API or anything else, we must make sure that at least the basics are in place. You must ensure that you have assessed, your APIs from security perspective, because if you don't do that, someone else will do it. Someone else will come and check, as long as they're publicly available, right? Because you want to open your services to serve the people and help them and provide your solutions, right? Which means that someone out there might be able to start scanning your network, scanning your APIs, identify vulnerabilities, and manipulate them. So for sure, doing a secure design of your APIs and your applications is super important. Apply basic security principles that are available
out there. You don't need an expert, for example, if you're a developer, to tell you which best practices you follow. So doing the bare minimum from security perspective is a great starting point. Of course, there is always a next step. You can implement a security scanning solution that can automate, those scans. And whenever you push new code, to make sure that you push a secure code out there. You can make sure as well that you protect any personal data, PII data, or sensitive information that your API interacts with, masking, secure encryption in place, super important. And at the same time, you need to understand if there are any security vulnerabilities related to your AI engines. We have, in our case, for example, at Leo CybSec, we do a lot of penetration testing. Nowadays, there are a lot of small, medium businesses that implement their own AI models and systems, which means that now also penetration testing has changed, the way you test systems. You have some new attacks, let's say, that can target AI systems, manipulate the back end code, query different information to get back responses from the system. And we have seen that we are able to extract a lot of personal information by manipulating AI models in those systems.
How do you feel in general? Like, I mean, there's always like there are data warehouses, data lakes, and everything is try to centralize this all the data at a single place. And now the AI comes into the game, like again, centralizing everything in a neural network. What is your general feeling about like really data centralization in one specific place? How do you feel about that? What is your advice here?
Yeah, thanks, Tim. So everything has pros and cons, right? We're talking about a lot of efficiency and best practices when you centralize everything in one place. But at the same time, this can become your kind of bottleneck, a single point of failure. So you need to make sure that you will balance your approaches. So it's great from, let's say, an operational perspective to have everything in one place. But at the same time, you need to make sure that you will follow, a defense in depth model that will make a hacker's life harder to penetrate your networks and get access to your data warehouses. So slowly, you need to build your defenses. Think it like a house, right? You have your external doors, then you need to build some internal doors. You need to add double lockers on the doors. Then you need to protect your windows. This is exactly what you need to do as well when you have your corporate environment, your data centers, your data warehouse accordingly. Make sure you have the right defenses in place, but in a layered, let's say, approach to implement this defense in depth model.
Would you recommend like to have everything stored centrally in one place, or would you say like sometimes it's even better like have it some part of the whole puzzle stored individually, separately, different technologies? Would that be actually easier or harder from a security point of view?
Depends, to be honest, on the case, but definitely what I would recommend is to understand your risk and the confidentiality of your data. You cannot have highly confidential data, for example, mixed up with low confidential data. If you have, let's say, more sensitive OT environment, if you operate under this remit, you need to make sure that your critical production OT environment will be separated from your publicly accessible environment accordingly. So definitely, yeah, you need to design your network in such a way that first of all, you will only mix data that are at the same confidentiality level. And yes, and slowly you can enhance your defenses. For example, for the high sensitive areas, you need to have elevated, security defenses there. For publicly available data or lower sensitive data, you can accordingly tailor your defenses. But yeah, definitely you need to follow this layered approach as well.
I have a question. I mean, we also hear a lot about the OWASP vulnerabilities top 10. I also learned it when I was a student. What would you say? Will there be, especially in the time where AI is rising, will there be more vulnerabilities, or are there specific vulnerabilities that will come more difficult to solve?
So what I have seen in the cybersecurity is that definitely we have the basic principles that remain the same, but in terms of new languages, new technologies, New attacks, we will see a lot of them changing in the future. OWASP Top 10, they have the basic principles there, which is great. Everybody can go check the website. The information is quite well documented, etc. But definitely, I believe AI will change drastically the engineering environments. Now you are able to build content in such a fast way, but also you can create malicious content really fast. So I think the latest stats show that cyber criminals can build faster and cheaper, like 95% faster and cheaper malicious content nowadays by utilizing AI technologies, which is quite scary, right? AI is amazing technology and can be used for good, but also we need to consider also the other side of the coin.
And which recommendations will you give to our audience regarding to AI?
Regarding
For
to
example, for ChatGPT, which is the most used
yeah.
AI technology.
Yeah, we always need to read behind the lines, right? We need to be careful of what information we update there. I feel like a lot of people now are using, all those models for also really high sensitive data. For example, healthcare reports. Everybody can go upload the report there, which includes all the health data. But have we considered if this information is becoming public? There are other cases that employees of companies are using, ChatGPT, etc., for corporate purposes. Is there a specific policy, for example, around the use of corporate information with ChatGPT? So definitely we need to be a little bit conscious of the use of it, especially if we're talking about sensitive information. All those models can accelerate a lot our day-to-day activities. I love it. I'm using it every day. But again, we need to be a little bit careful of the sensitivity of the information that we are sharing with all those models.
Before we dive too deep into the AI topic, which I like and would keep it for later, but I mean, everyone talks about AI, but actually, how does a real day of security consultant or security advisor does look like? What are the current problems from a day-to-day business people? Just get an impression like how much is AI related and
Yeah.
how much is actually non-AI related topics.
Yeah, indeed. And sometimes I miss these old days that AI was not here. So, when I was a security analyst, I had to get my hands dirty and actually going myself, think out of the box and assess systems, because now things have become a little more automated, which is again good and bad. So definitely, being a security analyst is a very critical position. In our case, we have customers that we assess their systems. We have access to real-time information about their environment, what's going on. So the first thing that an AI security agent, from my perspective, should have is passion about what they're doing. If you don't have passion about that, you will not think out of the box or look for those small little details that will add so much value, because being on the defensive side is much harder than the offensive side. Cyber criminals are just looking for one small hole to penetrate the system and the company. But when you are a cybersecurity analyst, you need to make sure that all the gaps of the organization have been closed, which is much harder. So yeah, waking up, getting access, opening your laptop and getting access to our platform to view how the customers' environments, how secure they are, if there are any attacks going on, if someone is trying to phish them with malicious emails or exploit their employees' accounts. It's something quite interesting, dealing with that every day. And we have a lot of new, let's say, young security analysts in the team as well, and they can feel this kind of passion, especially when they're doing penetration testing. They're able to find small vulnerabilities in really important application, and I can feel, how happy they feel right after they identify critical vulnerability. It's like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I found it.
Broke into the system finally. I
Yeah,
made it.
exactly.
Yeah. So is it then well, AI speeding up things quite heavily, but like from your current day-to-day life or from your consultant day-to-day life, in the percentage scale, like how much is it that you're spending with or without AI actually?
So AI can help a lot on the reporting side of things. For example, back in the days, we had to spend hours and hours on writing down reports, reviewing the reports, and make sure that the customer understands, the value of our work. Because cybersecurity can become very technical. If you go to someone who's not that technical, for example, with really low level information, you might not pass the correct message. So a great value that we see nowadays with AI in our case is that it helps us save time from reporting, writing, findings, risks, etc., which means that we can invest the rest of the time to more technical, activities. I have seen that helping, also young analysts, young consultants, and invest more time on actual analysis. But at the same time, there are few tools out there that can accelerate the defenses. We collaborate with a lot of cybersecurity vendors out there that they have elevated a lot their system by embedding AI inside it. In our case as well, we have a strong internal engineer security team, data scientists that invest a lot of time and research on how we can make the best use of AI in order to build an AI security agent that every small business can adopt in order to support with the day-to-day activities when it comes to cybersecurity. I'm pretty sure in the next few years we will see drastic changes in this field, cybersecurity and AI.
Yeah, and do you think that the bad guys are always, more advanced than the good ones?
Yeah, definitely. And you know why, David? Because they don't have to play by the rules. That's the
Yeah.
thing. They don't have to follow any rule. They can do whatever they like. They can use all the tools, all the technologies in the way they like. I'll give you another example. So in the Baltic states of Europe, they're very sensitive when it comes to human rights and employee profiling. If you run a phishing simulation campaign for a company and you pick the employees that fall into the trap of a phishing email, for example, you need to be extra careful how you're going to touch base on this concept, because you don't want to profile them like they failed, this assessment, they have done a bad performance. But cyber criminals, they don't follow this rule. They don't care. They just want to trick people, and clicking, a phishing email. So definitely not following the rules can accelerate a lot their strategies. On the other hand, we need to make sure that we create some realistic rules. Of course, rules is good to enable, a healthy business environment, but at the same time, we need to be realistic and make sure that all the laws, legislations make totally sense, and are reasonable for modern businesses to allow them and enable them to flourish. Cyber criminals have access to so many tools out there. They build their own hacking tools as well based on AI. You can go to the dark web, for example. There are black marketplaces out there that you can buy cyber criminals as a service. It's unbelievable what is out there
Criminals as a service.
as a service.
Wow.
Yeah.
A new
It's
SaaS, a new SaaS offering.
exactly, and it's very profitable business. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
it's very profitable business. Yeah.
Well, a fine, a ticket for wrong parking. Well, go to the black market and get that erased. Perfect. Well, I think there might be
Yeah,
more.
and not only that, but think what could go wrong. For example, if companies are allowed to hire cyber criminals and target their competitors.
Yeah, industrial spying is one of the major topics. I would say. What is your experience there like? Like, is it really that you have a lot of script kiddies that go into the marketplaces, getting some scripts and run these? Are these 80%, or is it really these
Definitely, yeah.
governmental agencies that try to break in targetedly to one system?
Yeah, totally. Governmental entities, we have seen a lot of those attacks past year, especially due to all the geopolitical situation. Script kiddies are there. They're just, youngsters who want this kind of excitement. They have really amazing skills, coding wise, scripting wise, etc. So they want to feel this excitement by hacking to a system. We have seen a lot of these examples in the past. Thanks God, there is a lot of awareness nowadays, and there are a lot of opportunities in the legal cybersecurity space. I think it's the only one of the very rare sectors that have zero unemployment right now. So instead of following, this wrong path, definitely if someone has the skill set, can make an amazing career as a
So
cybersecurity analyst.
basically, once you catch a script kiddie, basically, instead of putting him to jail, you send him a work contract.
Exactly. To be honest, the best consultants in FBI and CIA are those kind of script kiddies, right?
I like.
Yeah. And but still it's a very profitable business which attracts cyber criminals and cyber gangs as well. We have seen a lot of cyber gangs make money out of this situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it seems to be a never-ending loop, right? So as far as it's profitable, there will be criminals there.
Yeah, definitely. There is no 100% security. There is
Yeah, yeah.
always risk,
This is the
and people are always trying to exploit, what is available out there.
I mean, we talk a lot about, or what we talked about right now are the script kiddies, but do you think, or how can we handle like the script kiddies as agents, like AI agents? I think they will be more powerful, I think, than the script kiddies. So for me, it seems like it's really complicated to, yeah, to control them.
Mm. Yep, indeed. That's why we need to bring AI on the, defensive side, and that's our vision at Leo CybSec, to build the best and most powerful AI security agent that is tailored to small, medium businesses. So every business can have their own defense in place, and an AI agent that can support them against, so many cyber criminals out there. The future is very positive, but at the same time, a little bit scared when we talk about, cyber criminals, etc. But it's the truth, right? We don't want to scare anyone. We just want to raise awareness because it's the truth.
How can I imagine this agent? Basically, is it like something that an agent that they're gonna install in my system and my whole network? So, and he scans constantly through and like is patching all the vulnerabilities, like and changing configurations based on best practice that just have been released and so on.
Yeah, that's our vision, right? That's the big dream that we want to achieve. But it will take some time to be there. Baby steps, Steve. Baby steps. I can see
One
David
by
now.
one. Well, I just like want to mention, like, okay, if I let an agent configure a system, and I know that most of the AI has an accuracy of about 60% right now,
Yeah.
I have my gut feeling that there might be some major outages in front of us.
the landscape is very fun.
Well, another financial crisis based on
Yeah.
a security. There we go.
Hopefully not because of us, but yeah. So what we're trying
What?
team to do is to utilize, this knowledge of a lot of security data that we collect from our customers. Right now, we put small security controls across the business. For example, one security control on the laptop, one security control on the browser of the users to block malicious websites, a few security controls that are related to the employees, like online training, phishing simulations. This allow us to collect a lot of clean security data at the back end and train our model. So imagine like you being the CTO of a company, but you don't have a cybersecurity team and you cannot invest a lot of money to build an internal security team. In this case, we onboard you to our platform. We introduce those key security controls across your business, and at the same time, we are able to train, our model and give you the AI agent that come to you with proper alerting, proactive insights, and reporting about your health status when it comes to cybersecurity specific, incident, and of course, additional recommendations.
So I truly see we need a couple of things to make this really happen, because first of all, AI should be as accurate as much as possible. So you need really data quality is your key. But on the other hand, there will be never like it's a probabilistic thing and not a deterministic thing. So the infrastructure as code has to reach a level of maturity so that you can build up that environment, let the auto agent configure everything as according to his recommendations, and then put that into production. I mean, there is so much automation and hyper automation that is required. What is your feeling? I think this can be an endless chain, but what is your feeling of when will be at least some companies at the point where they could reuse these agents? What do you think?
Yeah. I was watching an interview from the CEO of the company that builds Claude, and he was saying that he expects next year, I think, 95% of the code to be written by AI, which is very scary, right? We will see a lot of changes in the future, in the next coming months, with all those models out there. I have a big feeling that next year will be a very pivotal moment in regards to coding and data from all those AI machines and companies. Still, we need the human element inside for sure, and we will have it there as well. But I believe that next year we will see really big changes in this kind of ecosystem, because all those machines, and better than me, they have been trained for quite some time now, and they are improving things exponential. So yeah, really looking forward to see how the landscape of AI and cybersecurity will look next year.
Okay. So do you have one question, David? Do you want to say something or?
Yeah, please save us. Save us.
So, Yanis, thank you very much. I think Tim and David and me also learned a lot, especially about cybersecurity and AI, of course. And thanks that you were here.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. And to be honest, we can change today's title instead of just Tapas and Pretzels to Feta, Tapas and Pretzel, because of the big background.
Absolutely.
But it was a pleasure, yeah, joining you guys. Thank you very much for the conversation. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we will see us in the next episode. And just follow us on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and you can also hear us on Spotify, and we will see us next time. So, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.